What is good? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chuck. Thank you very much for being here today. Happy Monday. Hope you all have had a great start to your week so far. Couple announcements before we get into the Monday market update. We're going to talk about all these sets, cards, movements, auctions, all the things, right? We are closing in on 4,000 subs. I just want to say very quickly, because we'll probably hit it this week. And I just want to thank you guys very much for all the support. I started making videos in May, about 4 months ago, for those who don't know, and it's just been a really fun ride so far. So to celebrate in my Discord, in our Discord, we are doing a White Flare Booster Bundle giveaway. Free to enter. Join the Discord, go to the giveaways tab, and click the little celebration button, and you'll be entered right in to have a chance, probably 1 in 120, or pretty good odds in my opinion. So yeah, thank you very much to everybody. Let's get right into it because, man, we have a lot of drops coming up this week, this month, next month. You know, things are starting to kick into high gear. And this is what we see typically every year in the Pokemon space. October, November, lots of drops happen. And really November, we have Phantasmal, but after November, that Black Friday, you know, back half of November, we have no news yet on what's to come. We'll get into some of these drops here, but I first want to start with Mega Evolution because it's pretty clear people love this set. It's holding quite well at these values. The enhanced booster box is stagnating a little bit, but there's a lot of sales volume and it's selling pretty consistently around that $300 to $325 price point. Now, what I think will happen is, you know, in the US, from what I can tell, from what I've heard and what I've seen, it seems like we're getting two waves. We got the first wave, roughly 60% allocation on the first wave. The rest will be coming on the second wave, which I think is next month. So, you know, I think there's a little bit of hesitancy to buy this box at this price. First of all, it's a little bit expensive, generally speaking. It's a tough pill to swallow for many people, especially people who feel like they're priced out, which is happening more and more across all cards, slabs, and sealed in general. But for a brand new box, it feels pretty heavy. And I think a lot of people are waiting to see on the second wave how it's going to impact pricing. My prediction is that this will kind of trend up a little bit to like that 330, 340 range. And once that wave hits, it'll drop down again to like 290 or something. And I think that will be one of your best buying opportunities for this box if you're looking to get more. So I think a lot of people have the same idea, but it's holding strong. The PC ETBs are doing very well. They dipped on release. Now they're bouncing back. The Lucario with the Riolu promo, but the Gardevoir with the Alakazam promo. I think the last time we talked about this, we said the Lucario was a bit above. This one's going for about 240-ish. Still, the Lucario is $15, $20 ahead. I'm still expecting it to flip once more people are kind of aware of the Alakazam promo. I think it's going to get more hype and attention over the Riolu promo. You know, card prices are still holding pretty strong. All the SARs are holding a lot of value. 320 for the Mega Gardevoir, Venusaur over 200, Lucario 275. The gold cards continue to be impossible to pull. It's like 1 in 1,200. And I have to say, you know, I said this on my stream yesterday. My tune has changed a little bit on gold cards because it's pretty clear the Pokemon Company, they're making an effort to make gold cards cool again. First of all, with the design, but also with the pull rates being even worse than before, from what I've seen. So, you know, there's going to be some cool ones. There's probably going to be a Gengar one in the future. The Charizard one is going to be very, very expensive. Those two cards are going to be ridiculous and Phantasmal. But yeah, these are going to hold a lot of value going forward. They look great in real life, from what I can tell. So yeah, Mega Evolution continues to be popular. People are still lining up for product. So, you know, maybe some things are a little bit slower in the hobby, but not the new sets because they're just that good. So expect some stagnation, but overall positive price movement in the midterm for this set. We got to talk about Prismatic because we are getting a lot of product this week on Walmart. Walmart has a Collecticon thing, which I guess is a good time to talk about it. You know, we're expected to get, let me pull up my Discord actually. There's a better screenshot. Let's take a look. Here we go. Shout out to Zaros in the Discord. We got some product here. 3-pack of 151. We got a prismatic bundle, 6-pack of prismatic ETBs, a 2-pack, a 5-pack, and then some 151, 6-pack, 5-pack, Destin Rivals. I guess this was an ad for on Instagram, which is pretty interesting. And then on the actual site, you got some Black Bolt stuff, you know, Obsidian, Paldea, SPC, Surging Sparks, like just kind of all over the place. So I don't really know what to expect. And from what I can tell, tonight we are getting a prismatic drop on Walmart at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I guess it's ETBs. Who knows? I think this is all Walmart Plus. I'm not sure if CollectorCon or maybe Walmart Plus you get quicker access. It's like 5 hours ahead or something. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty wild. I think there's going to be a lot of product coming out. So if you're looking to expand your prismatic collection, like literally everybody in the hobby right now, now is kind of the time to try to secure that. We also have some, from what I can tell, Lucario boxes dropping again at Sam's Club. I think this is the last wave, at least, of this kind of run over the last month. I think it's confirmed, but I'm also hearing that some Sams are not getting them. I don't really know. You'll probably have more information tomorrow, so just check your local chats. But yeah, I think these around $90 to $100 are pretty much dried up locally, but for $90, I think that's $6.50 a pack. That's a great deal for prismatic. So I'll be trying to get some. I'll be in the area anyway. We'll see what happens with that. So, you know, prismatic, like long term, right? Long term. ETBs right now are 140. In 1 year's time, 2 years' time, 3 years' time, it's gonna be more expensive. The set value is too high. The chase cards are too good. I know the evolutions have crowns, but there's something here for everybody. You know, you got the Roaring Moon. We don't need to talk about how good Prismatic is because everybody knows it. So I think it's really just a great time to continue to expand your Prismatic position. My philosophy has always been you can get it at MSRP, which you've probably had lots of opportunities at this point over the last 10 months. Hey, you're minimizing your risk, but you might be sacrificing a little bit on having a ton of product. All right, and maybe that's okay. That's what I'm comfortable with. If ETB prices drop below 100 again, I will be buying cases. That's how I feel. Maybe I'm late to the game on that, but it is what it is. So yeah, keep an eye out for Prismatic. Still doing big things, still big sales volume and all of that. Destin Rivals has been a little bit flat, if not a little bit down recently. You know, when a box runs up to 450-ish, 430, and it's brand new, you know, 5 months old, not even, it's going to see a little bit of a correction. And that correction was like $30. So it's like 13% down over the last week. But, you know, you don't need to be concerned about that because we're not getting any boxes anytime soon, it feels like. Maybe that'll change, but there's been no announcement so far of Destin Rivals. I'm sure we're going to get more product. I just think it might be like ETBs and bundles and blisters and packs. You know, you're seeing checkline blisters at stores. So time will tell with these boxes, you know, Destin Rivals, Mega Evolution, how they're going to perform in the short to midterm. If more product hits, it'll be absorbed immediately. I think it's too good to fail at this point. So not much to say about Destin Rivals. The PCTB's pushing $400, which is pretty wild. Pretty wild. You know, that's entering like borderline sell territory for me. If it starts pushing 500, 600 at some point, which I think PCTBs, obviously they had a huge run. But I think like if we start having another run on PCTBs, I will be looking to maybe take some profits because I kind of have a lot of them and they're a bit big to store. So yeah, we'll see. But Destin Rivals, keep an eye out for product, hopefully in the future. It just seems like we're getting Charizard UPCs and or the Mega Charizard UPC and other products that have some destined, like the tens, but not actually like destined themed itself. Paladin Fates I wanted to bring up because we got actually announcements for that Iron Shreds box, which is like the Sea and Sky or Blooming Waters version. We've all have heard about now. Actually, some released on Walmart last night. I think it was a mistake, but I don't think they've canceled the majority of orders. So pre-orders are already in for the set, which is crazy, or for the product for the set. As far as everything else goes, like I'm hoping in the holiday season we get some kind of trickling Paldean Fates, but I just feel like we're not going to get much of significant quantity. Um, the CTB will be well over $300 by the end of the year, and as we approach the G block, which is Scarlet and Violet base Paldean Fates, rotating out in April, every month that goes by, the downside gets smaller and smaller because we're getting less product, or a lower chance of getting product, I should say. So, yeah, just pretty wild. Definitely keeping an eye on Paldean Fates for those boxes. I don't know. I think they're coming out at 70-ish dollars or so. So I don't know if you're going to get them super cheap because everybody's going to be thinking the same thing about the set. It's not going to be a Lucario box situation where people are dumping them for 100. We'll see, though. We'll see. Celebrations continues to be a great investment opportunity. The 30th anniversary isn't even, announced yet. We're probably going to get like 4 or 5 more sets before then. I'm expecting late summer, fall for the 30th anniversary, somewhere in that timeline, assuming some of those leaks were true about the sets, which we made a video about last week. But the Celebrations regular ETB is going for like $235. And it's pretty hard to find right now. Like card shows locally, I haven't seen Celebrations pop up at all. Whereas a couple months ago, I saw a bit more of because people were taking profits. But, this box has stagnated for, the last, I would say 2 months or so, maybe even 3 months. It's entering that territory of like, I bet there's going to be more opportunities. And I bet there's going to be a buyout at some point of this ETB. Calling it now. Celebrations is going to have another move pretty soon. It's just reaching that point in this space where when something is stagnant for too long, there's going to be plenty of investors or speculators, rushing in to buy. So it's a great set. It's fun to rip. People still like it. And, there's still speculation to be had and growth with the upcoming 30th anniversary set. I guess it's called Eternals. We'll see how true that is soon. Crown Zenith has been a little bit flat recently, but there was a good buyout over this last weekend, or good sales activity. It's kind of close to that $200, $210, $215, $220 range. Of course, it's listed here for $234, but I almost guarantee if you go to a card show, you can find it cheaper than that. Just because the demand is there, but it's a little bit healthier than some other sets. It's still 100% sell-through rate, but it's not like ripping. Like we would expect it to, just because I think there is a good amount of quantity out there. Bundles are starting to move up even more. $120 for these wild. The Sea and Skies are pretty much $200 on the dot at this point. So if you're still holding those from Sam's last year, congrats. I have a couple myself. Feel pretty good about it. But yeah, Crown Zenith, you see it on the shelf, you buy it. It's not too complicated. It's a set that's always going to be popular. It's one of the best ever made, period. But for me, it's all about the ETBs, and around $200 or even under, potentially, if it keeps dropping, like that's where I'm going to be looking. But I think there's a lot of support around that $200 price point. And cards are still, continuing to move up, which is pretty wild. Black Bolt is entering territory for me where, you can still get product in like vending machines and stuff, like Targets, fairly consistently if you put in some effort, which I'm not. But I have been buying some bundles at like $40 just because I want to start slowly accumulating these while I can, while they're out. And $40 is like barely over MSRP. It's like $5 more when you include taxes. So I love the set. I know a lot of people, it's a bit contentious as far as Gen 5 goes, but look, Black Bolt is sick, and the ETBs look pretty good. And look, this is price movement that's flat. You're able to get them at MSRP, which you probably will be able to this week. I think it's a pretty good opportunity. The cards are valuable. I pulled the Genesect that's being graded right now. Please. Seismitoad's still doing well. The monochromatic cards, the Zekrom, has been flat for a few months. So demand is there for these cards. Now, admittedly, it's a bit less compared to something like Prismatic, but it's a special set, guys. I know the Solosis also had a huge buyout, which is pretty wild. That's just silly price movement. I guess people said it's the Booger Mew, Bubble Mew. Pretty dumb, but that's the space we're in. The teeny boxes are starting to trend up as well. You know, they're pushing 45, 50 bucks. You know, the promo still like pushing $20. So, the teeny boxes are still a great buy as well. And I'm sure we'll get more in the future. I think we're getting more on this drop soon, but look at the cards. Haxorus, Superior, the Genesect is cool, Kyurem, like the Seismitoad is cool. I know it's Seismitoad, but it is a Shinji art, and it is a great representation of the Pokemon. And an art that appeals to a lot of people. And the Zekrom is amazing. You know, I just feel like people aren't talking about Black Bolt or White Flare. I think White Flare is a little bit worse, but I mean, it's trending in the same direction, and the prices are just slightly behind, but basically the same. The set values are pretty similar too. In fact, I think for a while, White Flare was actually higher in set value, which was pretty interesting. But like, look at the Hydreigon, $83. Seems like a pretty good deal to me for a card of this quality, how cool of a Pokemon it is. Like, bro, Gen 5 does not suck. Gen 5 kind of rules. I think Gen 5 is great, but that's my own personal bias, but there's a lot of popular Pokemon in here. Zoroark, the starters are popular. Reshiram, Zekrom, Hydreigon, right? It's good. It's good. So, you know, I got a couple White Flare. I got an ETB in a bundle recently, whatever. I'm not like super excited about buying White Flare. I'm actually kind of not anymore, but I am giving away the bundle, so shout out. I do want to give a quick message to the sponsor of today's video, which is, of course, the Shiny app. Ever wondered what your collection is worth? Well, the Shiny app is here to help. It allows you to track all the prices of your products and updates 2 times per day. The Shiny app pulls data from both eBay and TCG Player to keep your collection's value as accurate as possible. Not to mention, it has the most seamless user interface in the game. I love using it. I love how it looks. It's so easy to use. And the best part is, it is totally free. The links are down below if you'd like to try it out. Thanks again, Shiny. All right, let's move on. Surging Sparks, I think, is a great opportunity right now. You can still find Elite Trainer boxes for MSRP. Just had a big drop at GameStop. The Costco bundles are still selling relatively low, 90, 100 bucks. I think is also a great opportunity. I think the best opportunity is actually in the booster box, which I know is on TCG Player is selling for close to $300, but in real life, locally, these things are flooding vending machines, and I'm seeing tons of people get them pretty consistently, and I think we're getting more at the vending machines. So you can get these all day long for $250. In a lot of cases, closer to $225, $230. If you buy maybe a couple or somebody's just trying to get a quicker sale. But the 225 listings go pretty quick. And I think this is a fantastic opportunity on a set that's getting older in age, that is considered to be one of the better boxes of this era. You know, if you want exposure to a good set at a pretty good price, like, you know, Paradox Rift is basically selling for $30 more. Like, Surging Sparks is a great value right now. So I'm looking to get more boxes if possible. I got one recently. And I think now is a really good time to capitalize on this. I think it's one of the better opportunities in the market at the moment. City of Flames, I just want to check in on this because it is moving up. We got Phantasmal coming out. The cards are continuing to trend up. Booster boxes are starting to push $400, you know, 330-ish range, and pretty decent sell-through. And these are getting more scarce. It's crazy to see. Elite Trainer box is still like the best product of this set. The Charmander promo, 165. PCTB still sitting around. It's going to be pretty flat for a while because it's just not super liquid, as you can see, not a ton of sales at that $700 price point, but they are popping up occasionally here and there, which is pretty interesting to see. So yeah, we covered the Great Tusk and Iron Treads box for Paldean. Tons of drops this week. Again, Sam's Club tomorrow for the Prismatic. I believe this is still happening. Collecticon on Walmart. I think this starts on Thursday morning at 10 East. The Charizard, the Mega Charizard X UPC, we got a bunch on Walmart again. I was able to get 3. My order has not been canceled. So I think if your order has not been canceled at this point, seems like you're good. I'll let you know if that changes, but this is a great product. And I think under 200 bucks is going to be is going to be great long term. The pack selection is really strong. Mega Evolution, Phantasmal, Journey Together, Destined Rivals, and 2 Surging with Charizard promo. And I think an Oricorio promo as well. The one that got cut, I'm pretty confident that is going to be in the set, the Shinji Oricorio. So if that's still true, look, it's a great product. It looks cool. Packs are good. The products look good. It's good. It's very good. And you're going to have lots of opportunities to get this because there's a ton of them out there that's going to be released. Let's close with looking at what's sold on Probstein auctions. This is a consignment service. I think they're going to be stopping on eBay pretty soon. I guess maybe to save money. I'm not really sure. But I filtered it to not show anything under 100 bucks. So you're going to see a lot of cases, booster bundle cases, booster bundle displays. Look at the shrouded one. Actually looks pretty cool. And I don't see people talking about this display very often because the set kind of stinks, but usually it's about the PCTBs. 900 bucks. Black Bolt 900. I said this is a good buy. In the 800s. I think it'll continue to trend up, but I'm hoping I can get one of these at some point. That'd be cool. 151 booster bundle display, 1500 bucks. Considering the price of loose, which was like 110. Pretty good value, to be honest. Paldean Fates starting to, the gap is closing on loose compared to the displays. Probably also a pretty good buy. But yeah, both are selling for around 1500 bucks. Pokemon Center Stellar Crown Elite Trainer Box, 4 box. I think these are PCTBs, I'm assuming. Broken Bonds 24, Astral Radiance 3-pack blister case. Weird. Prismatic ETBs, or I'm sorry, Prismatic booster bundle displays selling for 1400. I think we'll get a lot more loose. I'm kind of holding out for loose because I think we'll get more. The White Flare is selling for, a bit less than Black Bolt, which is interesting. I think it's perceived to be a bit worse. BCTBs 400 for the pair. Cosmic 4700. Wild. Then a bunch of Van Goghs, more boxes that aren't that great, but selling all day for 500. I think Sword and Shield is a bit undervalued. I know we've talked about it recently, which is why I'm not talking about it today. But I think Lost Origin, Fusion, Evolving, Brilliant, and Chilling are all great buys. Silver as well. But I'm looking for Fusion and Evolving personally. I want to maybe liquidate some of my collection boxes and apply that towards another Evo box or something. We'll see. Probably going to list like a couple collection boxes just to see how long they take. Just to get a feel for kind of how it is to sell random things like that in this market. Yeah, just other cards, promos, Phantom Forces, Portuguese, Gengar, very interesting. And just another, Obsidian Flames case, 2K. This is crazy. 7,800 for the first edition Shadowless Blister Charizard pack in the case, boy. Wild stuff. Go to 2,000 just because it's fun. Cases, got the Yokohama Special Box, Sun and Moon. That's wild. Japanese Sunbreon. I'm going to keep calling it the Sunbreon. I know it's a moon. I don't care. It's annoying to call it the Moonbreon. I don't accept this. Plaza EX promo. I think that comes out of a 10, if I'm not mistaken. So it's pretty hard to grade. Or pretty low pops on these, obviously. Yeah, some gold stars are still selling. I think gold stars have slowed down a little bit, which is to be expected. PSA 8 Trico, gold star the GOAT. Unbroken Bonds around 2,000. Probably a pretty good value for this box. But Sun and Moon boxes are very expensive. I don't know. I would like to get a Unified Minds, maybe a Cosmic, but it's just crazy. Bubble Mew and a 10 still selling for 2K. Pretty wild. And you can see the rest here. We won't bore you too much. Team up 8,300 this month. So I think we'll call it there. Again, really appreciate all the support. Thank you again to the Shiny app. Join the Discord if you haven't already. If you're in the Discord, enter the giveaway. Again, we got a White Flare bundle. And yeah, I think that'll conclude this week's Monday market update. Be on the lookout for these drops. It's going to be pretty wild this week. Hope everybody has a lot of success. It doesn't get botted to all hell. And yeah, thank you again for the support. 4,000. 4,000. I mean, that just sounds crazy. Sounds crazy. I appreciate each and every one of you. As always, see you in the next video. Have a good week. Goodbye.